Hey everybody, it's Mergle, and today I just want to make this video because I'm sure by this point many of you know that Poseidus has been changed in terms of spawn timer, which is it begs the question of why. Why did they do that? Why now? Why'd they update all the spawn timers of all these many things? Like, what reasoning did Blizzard have behind it? And the main opinion seems to be that good old Blizzard is a bunch of casual catering nerds, and how dare they give everything to everybody. That's what is really the main opinion a lot of people seem to have stated, which I do agree that there are things in the game that it doesn't make you a special snowflake, but it does make your achievement seem more, you know, challenging. Yeah, I don't know how to put it. It's not that I'm saying, you're cool because you did one thing, but it does give you a feeling of accomplishment if you've done something that is very difficult and it's quite hard for anybody else to do. So I do agree it was strange, but at the same time there was an opinion by a couple people, and I think this was really cool when I was reading it. So what they were saying is, what if Blizzard changed this because they want everybody to have a water mount for the next expansion? And it makes sense because a lot of the water mounts are very difficult to obtain. They're either very long grinds or just extremely rare, right? So by doing this, it gives everybody a 100% guaranteed water mount that can be used anywhere with very little difficulty to obtain it. Let's just go into a couple water mounts, right? So I know there's the Pond Nettler. This is a new one. This is when you get fishing on Argus. Rare drop fishing. Some people, when I talked about this, a couple of you commented, took you over 5,000 casts before you even got it. So crazy rare. It could take a long time to get, and you get no benefit while fishing for this. Absolutely nothing. So junk. Now there is one, the one that's off of Kosamoth. So Fathom Dweller. This is pretty easy to obtain, especially now, but you never know which world quest is going to be on Kosamoth's island. So if you go down there, right, it sometimes doesn't rotate. Like the first time we discovered Kosamoth, it took like 4 weeks before it ever popped up for the mount. So that could be a really long wait if you don't happen to be lucky and it changes to a world quest for a mount. That one. There's the turtles. So you have the 2 turtles, both very rare if we'd look into them. This is fished in your garrison, a level 3 garrison. Along with this one, you can catch a murloc. Oh, you catch a green fish, you throw it and it summons a murloc, and it has a rare chance to drop either of these from a level 3 fishing shack in your original garrison. And then the a brine thing. Brine feeder. There's that. So it's, again, a long grind of fishing. It can go pretty fast as long as there's a lot of people there, but if you're alone, it took me like 16 to 20 hours alone. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was a pretty long time. It can take as low as 4 to 5 if you're in a group, a big old raid catching it, but very slow. And then the dark skate is really the last one. Skate, what's it called? Dark water skate. This is from Dark Moon Island. You just buy it. So this one is technically very easy to get, but it can run pretty expensive if you're going to go out and buy it. So it leaves Poseidus. And Poseidus gives you the subdued seahorse. Now they normalize the speed of all water mounts. So water mounts are there's no difference. They look different, obviously, but there's actually no difference in their speed anymore. They all move at the same rate, which means that it doesn't matter what you actually pick up, you're going to be fine as long as you have one. So the guess is that they made Poseidus so common because a person in the Secret Finder Discord was telling me that they saw a spawn as low as 3 hours. 3 hours. That's nutty. And the fact is, you can be in a group. You can tag it with a very weak object like the pedal shooter, anything very weak, so that to not kill it, and all 5 players can get them out, which means, yeah, very common now. Poseidus is going to be worth dirt cheap. You could probably even buy it off the auction house for less than the dark water skate costs. I imagine eventually it's gonna drop very, very rapidly. So the guess is that Blizzard maybe intends to use underwater mounts, or maybe even specifically Poseidus mount, for the next expansion. And the way I would go into this is saying, if you didn't know this, right? I don't know how common this knowledge is, but Poseidus, when you have this mount, if you use this mount in Vashir, so the underwater place, it actually moves at 350% speed, swimming speed. So all mounts go at 250% swimming speed, but if you use this one specifically in Vashir, it moves at 350% speed. And the reason being is the Abyss Seahorse, which is a zone-specific only mount. You can only use the Abyss Seahorse at Vashir, moves at 450% swimming speed. So they made the Seahorse move faster when used specifically here. Even though it's still not as fast as the Abyss Seahorse, it does change when you go into this zone. That being said, they could make it so underwater mounts, whatever our next expansion is, it's probably got to have a lot to do with Inzoth. It's obviously got Kul Tiras to deal with, and Jaina Proudmoore is going to be a huge person in the next expansion. She's going to be very, very important, considering she is the queen of Kul Tiras. So, very, very important stuff, and that means, you know, these underwater mounts could play a huge role, because Naga are also going to be an important role. They serve Inzoth, Queen Azshara, who's kind of controlled by Inzoth, right? So these underwater mounts could be used to swim in the water. I'm guessing, I don't know, somewhere around here. It's hard to say, because in the lore, Kul Tiras was like right here, so I guess it's got to have moved out here, right? But these underwater mounts could be playing a big, big role in the next expansion, and they're maybe going to get certain buffs. You get underwater breathing, you move faster, you can loot on a mount. Who knows what they intend to do with it, right? It could do a lot of stuff with it. But all I would recommend is, if you do not have at least one or two types of underwater mounts, I don't know if you need multiple, but get as many as you can, because you never know what effects they're going to give each one. If they allow for the Seahorse to get a buffed speed in Vashir, for all you know, they could give the Sea Turtle looting capabilities while mounted. Seahorse moves faster. Brine Saber, the shark thing, brine water shark something, whatever it's called. It could maybe attack while you're fighting, so it's like a second companion. Who knows what they could do? They like to change things up. It could do a lot of things. But anyways, thank you for watching. Just a little bit talking about it, because again, it still is very strange that they decided to update these things now. So hope you enjoyed this. I will see you again real soon. Can't wait for BlizzCon to see what happens. Bye bye.